Jadi, eee, sejak saya kecil berarti sudah pemerintahannya Soeharto dan pada waktu itu Soeharto sampai dengan saya lulus SMA itu tahun 97, kemudian di tahun 98 kebetulan pas semester 2, Ibu waktu itu ada kejadian ini 98 yang pengulingan Soeharto karena rezim Soeharto dianggap sudah terlalu lama berkuasa, hampir 32 tahun, lalu mahasiswa bergerak pada waktu itu dan Solo juga termasuk karena bagaimanapun dari dulu Solo itu dianggap sebagai salah satu barometer politik selain Jakarta.
Oleh karena itu dengan memperhatikan ketentuan pasal.
She was still a student back then. Like many young people, she spent her days attending classes, meeting friends, and thinking about the future. But in 1998, that future suddenly became uncertain. Back then, Indonesia was under the leadership of President Suharto. For more than 30 years, he ruled the country. According to her, those years were not entirely bad. Roads were built, schools were established across the country, infrastructure continued to grow, and Indonesia became more connected than ever before. Because of this achievement, many people even called him Bapak Pembangunan Indonesia. But as the time went on, another side of his government became harder to ignore. Power remained in the hand of the same people for too long. Corruption and nepotism became increasingly common. Many people believed the elections were unfair. Criticism toward the government was often suppressed, the media was tightly controlled, and activists who spoke too loudly were silenced.
At first, the demonstrations were peaceful. They were meant to be a place for people to express their hopes for change. But everything changed. The protests turned chaotic. The streets filled with smoke, vehicles burned, stores were looted, and fear spread throughout the city. According to her, Solo was one of the first cities to feel the impact. People were afraid to leave their homes. Universities even recalled students and sent them back home for safety. But the riots didn't stop there. Soon, another tragedy unfolded. Hatred based on ethnicity began to spread. Suddenly, Chinese Indonesians became targets. She told us that the student movement was never about ethnicity, yet innocent people became victims.
Families hid inside their homes. Others lost their business, their property, and their sense of safety. Many Chinese Indonesians eventually left Indonesia to start new lives elsewhere. Fear was everywhere. For many people, there was only one thing left to do: run. Run for their lives, run from violence, run from chaos. At that time, standing up against injustice could cost everything, sometimes even a life. And when the streets finally grew silent, a single hope remained: the hope that Indonesia would learn from its past, a past where democracy could be taken away, corruption could thrive, and innocent people could become victims. But then, a whisper pierced through the silence, and suddenly a question remained: have we truly learned from history, or are we destined to repeat it?
Rupiah terus melemah, menyentuh level 18.000 terhadap dolar Amerika Serikat.
Orang rakyat di desa nggak pakai dolar kok, ya kan?
Butuh satu pemicu, dan 98 jilid 2 akan terjadi tidak lama lagi.
Saya rasa aktivis-aktivis itu sampai sekarang pun ada. Cuma mungkin sekarang wadahnya ya Mbak ya, wadahnya lebih kalau dulu zaman dulu untuk beraktivitas politik dia harus masuk ke partai atau apa. Kalau sekarang dia mungkin ingin menyuarakan bisa ke medsos dan yang lain. Jadi kalau untuk Gen Z sebenarnya kalau menurut saya juga aware kok. Aware.
At the time, activists were actually appointed the government position as a form of punishment.